What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another exciting episode of Attack and Productions. Today I'm Bancroft, and I'm going over my next deck profile. And as you can tell by the thumbnail, it is Yellow Turles. This is a mono build set 15 deck, so this is kind of the theme of what we got from set 15 for Turles, and just the tweaks I made to it since then to kind of give it my own little flair. So like always, buttons down below, feel free to click them, they're there for a reason. Let's get into this. Turles has a permanent where if a Crusher Corp card in your battle area will be placed in its owner's drop area by one of your skills, it is sent to its owner's warp instead. So pretty much, you can't play Celzino or any form of successor. So it just won't work. Alright. Auto. When this card is placed in your leader area, play up to one Tree of Might Divine Roots from your deck, and you get to place 2 markers on it, which is really nice, so it helps keep this card alive. It is a 16,000 Unison card, and we'll go over that Unison card in a second. This card has auto. When this card attacks, you draw 1 card. And the Awaken, if your life is 4 or less, or you have 3 or more life that's face up, you may draw 2 cards and flip this card over. So it does have an alternative Awaken, which is pretty nice. And once you've Awakened, you still have the permanent where the card's placed for the drop area by one of your skills, yada yada yada, and you just won't work. When the card attacks, still gets 1 draw. But here's where it gets new things. Activate Battle once per turn, and it's a Spirit Boost for 1 yellow energy. Choose 1. If you have 2 or more yellow face-up cards in your life, this card gets 10,000 power for the battle. Or you may choose one fruit. Choose 1 fruit of the Tree of Might in your hand and discard it. If you do, activate its Activate Battle without paying its skill cost. So it's pretty cool. It comes in handy. Moving that leader side, we'll go back to that in a second. I do play a second Divine Roots because, in my experience, people tend to, at least in my locals, they get Unison trigger, and they will take out a Unison, because Unisons open up the ability for free plays, or the Spirit Boost plays in a lot of decks to make things cheaper and whatnot. So getting rid of your opponent's Unison really does get rid of a resource for them. So that I do play too. Now I do have other ways of playing Unisons in this deck, but this is actually the only Unison I play in this deck. So if you're not familiar with Divine Roots, this card cannot attack. It's a tree, it just sits there. Auto. If your leader card is Yellow Turles Crusher Corp, when your leader card attacks, you may choose 1 Turles Crusher card in your hand, add it to your life face up. If you do, use 1 face up Turles Crusher card from your life in a combo. So pretty much you put a card in your life face up, and you immediately combo with that card you put in there early on. Now once you get throughout the progressive of the match, you'll have more than 1 face-up card, because auto for 1 marker. If your leader card is Yellow Turles Crusher Corp, at the start of your opponent's turn, flip up to 1 card in your life face-up. Keep in mind that happens at the beginning of your opponent's turn. So if it's during your turn, and I think there are some cards, I can't remember what color it is, that will negate the skills of your Unisons for the turn, but this auto procs at the beginning of their turn, not the end of your turn, so it works in your favor. -2, activate main, add up to 1 extra card of energy cost of 1, and Tree of Might in its card name from your deck to your hand, and shuffle your deck afterwards. So, pretty much, the Tree of Might. Based on the leader's ability, for like I said, for 1 yellow energy, Spirit Boost 1, you can activate this Activate Battle. Just choose up to 1 of your leader cards or battle cards, and it gets plus 20,000 power for the battle. If the chosen card's character name includes Turles, it also gains Double Strike. So pretty much, if a leader swing, if it's not negate Activate Battle, can make this a 35,000 Double Strike right off the bat for 1 energy. And it does take a marker off your Unison, so you just gotta be careful with that Unison because you want to keep it alive, because of the autos, the flip being face up, the auto when your leader attacks. So going to the Turles Corp cards, or Crusher Corp cards, in order of what I prefer, 2 Cacao. Auto, if your leader card is Yellow Turles Crusher Corp, at the end of the battle in which this card was used in a combo from your life, play this card from your drop area, then flip it to 1 card in your life face up. So pretty much if you swing up the leader, this card you put in your life, immediately combo with it, it can then play itself at the end of battle, and you can flip 1 life face up. That way you're keeping that 1 face up life. The activate main, choose 1 Tree of Might Divine Roots in your Unison area. Place this card underneath the chosen card and add a marker to it. So what I'd like to do is, if I could, I guess if I go second, I could attack turn 1. You swing at the leader, use this card as the combo from your life, play it, you swing with this card, get another attack, and then you immediately activate main after you attack with it, put it under your Unison, give your Unison another marker. Then when you pass your opponent's turn, your Unison now has 4 markers. And you have 2 face-up cards in your life. And keep in mind, if your opponent attacks you, do not take the face-up life. Work around that unless you really want that face-up card. Because, like I said, you want to awaken as soon as possible with this deck, and doing so requires you have 3 face-up life. Alright, Amon. Same auto where if this card's combo with, you can play it from the drop area, choose one of your cards in your life face up. But now, auto Spirit Boost 1. When this card is played, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost of 4 or less in rest mode and KO it. Now, this is a nice way of clearing cards, but truth be told, I've beginning to think to play 4 of that instead of Cacao, and then adjusting this one for another card down the road. I'll go over that when I get to that point. We played the Twins, obviously. 3 of the non-blocker, same auto, but this time it is played in rest mode. Instead of active mode, you do not switch one of your... If your leader card is Turles, at the end of the battle, which this card was comboed from your life, yes, still has the same auto, but it's played in rest mode, and you do not flip up when your cards face up. So be careful when you do this one, because you do not maximize the life of that one. Auto limit 1, when this card is played, add up to 1 card from your life to your hand. Play up to 1 mono yellow raisin card with an energy cost of 2 or less from your deck. Shuffle your deck, look through it, and you cannot play any more copies of this card for turn. And we also play 3 of the raisin. We just want to see it because that is your blocker, which does have the, once again, the same auto, but it's in active mode, and you do not get to flip the life up. So like this combo power, you get to play additional card with the combo, but you do not get to flip the life face up. And it has the same auto in the sense where you can play up to 1 mono yellow. I always mess up his name. I think that translates to Peanut if I'm correct though. But you get to play this from your deck in rest mode. So pretty much no matter what you do, this card will always be played in rest mode, but it just gives you another card on the field pretty much. And this one will always give you your blocker, which is played in active mode, and it has the same auto limit 1 where you cannot play another card. You cannot play this card again. So, and then we play 3 of the Turles Power of the Tree. So this auto is very similar to the auto on the Unison's attack for your leader, where when this card is played, though, from your hand, you may choose 1 Turles Crusher Corp card in your hand, add it to your life face up. If you do, you could add 1 card from your life to your hand. So pretty much, if you say go second, you could swing with the leader, get the auto off the Tree of Might, play the Cacao to get the life back face up, then use your energy to play this Turles, pass your opponent's turn, use the Tree of Might's auto to send another, and that way when your opponent swings at your lead, you just awaken right then and there with still 8 life. Sounds pretty good. It does have a Spirit Boost 1. I don't really use it a lot, but if your leader card is Yellow Turles Crusher Corp, when this card attacks, it gets plus 1,000 power for the battle. Then use up to 1 face-up Turles Crusher card in your life, and you can combo with it. So once again, you can just cycle another one that you put in there using this one's abilities as well on play. The problem, like I said, is that my opponents at our locals typically go for Unisons, so removing markers early from the Unison isn't really the best idea, especially in a deck that can go wide enough to hurt the Unison. And a protecting card to the Unison is DS Barrier. If this card is in rest mode, your opponent can't attack Tree of Might Divine Roots, and does have activate main limit 1 for 1 yellow energy. If your leader card is Turtle Crusher Corp, play this card from your hand, and then play up to 1 Tree of Might Divine Roots from your deck or drop area with a marker on it. Shuffle your deck if you look through it. So pretty much if your opponent removes the Tree of Might from your field, you can always just activate the main to play this card, which will then play the Unison for you, and that way you just rebuild that Unison back up, use that Unison for the Spirit Boost, and yada yada. So earlier I mentioned Amon, a card if I were to take Amon out, something I would adjust. And truth be told, it is the Turles All Too Easy. I only play 2, and the more I look at this, it's not a bad idea to play 3. It's just a really good card overall. It can potentially get rid of 2 cards on your opponent's side of the field. It can get you remove 1 of your opponent's cards and then draw 1 for yourself. And it's all for 2 energy if your leader card is mono yellow sand and you have 3 or more energy. That's it. So it's just a really good double strike card, 20k that comes out in the battle. And last for the Turles or the Turles Crusher Corp cards, I play 3 of the 4-drop green-yellow one. Typically a rival green-yellow, but it does have an activate being limit 1 for either a green or a yellow. If there are 2 or more Turles Crusher Corp cards in your battle area, you can play this card from your hand. So keep in mind, you could just literally turn 1 because there's no energy requirement here. If you have this card in your hand with, say, one of the twins, you could just swing with the leader, use the auto off the Tree of Might, combo with one of these cards, play the card right after, which plays the other one, and then use that 1 open energy to play this card right afterwards. It gives you 2 blockers on your first turn. And when this card is played from your hand, you draw 1 card, then choose 1. If your looted card is green, which it's not, if your looted card is yellow, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost of 4 or less and KO it. Something you want to do later on in the game, obviously, just to benefit off that secondary auto. So that's kind of like all the Turles Crusher Corp cards I have in this deck. And let's go to the rest of the deck, which is a mix between defensive and trying to go for game. So for defense, we play 3 of the Son Goku counterplays. It could be argued to play the Prideful Transformation because you have a Unison right off the bat, and that's a free counterplay for you, which also taps the card coming in, which this card does as well. But for 1 energy, this card also draws a card, and I like to draw, and I think that's a good enough reason to play it. But don't get me wrong, if I were to have a sideboard for this one for best 2 out of 3, and I felt like Vegeta Prideful Transformations would be better, especially for early on aggro, definitely play the Vegeta Prideful Transformation. Speaking of wide boards, Mega Frieza. Just a good negate that stops your opponent from attacking unless they want to tap a card. Speaking of stopping the attack, we got Forbidden Power, which is kind of like a Nimbus and Absorbent Potential put together. Also has the additional effect of Activate Battle, where if your looted card is yellow and it's your turn, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, switch it to rest mode, then choose up to 1 of your yellow cards, and it gets plus 10,000 power for the battle. Speaking of good extra cards of 2 effects, Power of the Super Saiyan, it's a negate, but it's also a Activate Battle if your looted card is mono yellow. Draw 1 card and choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards, or Unison card, switch it to rest mode. You cannot activate this card again. So, for the turn. And truth be told, there's a new Goku Black Kamehameha. I can't remember what the card's called. It's the new card from set 16. Really good yellow extra card, which will be teched into this deck. 2 freezes army reinforcements because it's a blocker for 2 energy, or you can take a life if your life is 5 or less. And, sorry, it's a negate, and it's a blocker. And if you take the life to go down to 4 life, it activates the super combos, which helps protect yourself by, bottom decking a card and drawing 2 more. If your opponent has a battle card that's super tall and super scary, like double strike, triple strike, quad strike, whatever you're thinking of, Final Flash is a good way to put that card, to stop that card from attacking you. So it's just kind of a list of defensive cards that I play, just help keep myself alive, keep going, and just keep me going to the following turns. So that way I could potentially play either Son Goku, Return of the Dragon Fist, a great 8-drop card, which can be played for 3 energy, has Deflect, Double Strike. When this card is played, choose to 2 of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode, KO them, so it helps clear the board. The 3 energy thing worked if you have 4 more energy and a yellow Unison in play. You can play this card from your hand. Activate main once a turn for Spirit Boost 2. If your looted card is mono yellow, this card gains dual attack for the turn, and your opponent can't activate skills of battle cards with original energy cost of 7 or less from any area. And keep in mind, a little fun fact, a lot of people typically play super combos like this, which all that's in the auto. If you were to activate that, they cannot get their super combo, the auto off, because that auto is a skill that cannot be activated on this battle card. So, just a fun fact. Now, this does take 3 energy, so depending on when I could play this card, I could salt to turn 6 if I wanted to, but if I had earlier pressure, I was able to get my opponent down and was trying something like the Turles Double Strike one. A Swift Retaliation cooler just helps stop your opponent from negating, that way your attack can go through. It's kind of like a secret rare, I only play 1 of, but when I see it, it's really good. Speaking of really good 1 of cards, also Bardock Fighting Against Fate. I have another another Overwhelm card, which is Fu. This deck can get to turn 6. I was just trying to find ways that felt right, and every time I tested this deck out, I always went the late game with it. So it just felt right, attacking in 2 different ones with 2 different types of ability, either the, dual attack 25, or just shut down your opponent for their turn and your attacking turn. But if he gets counterplay and gets tapped, just be careful of that, because that can happen. And last but not least, we do play 1 Super 17 as our secret rare, because it can counterplay a card coming in, ignoring its skills. It could steal a card from your opponent by putting underneath this card. It's 1 energy with 3 or more energy. It's just really good yellow negate. And the yellow like counterplay. So you couldn't play Cell Xeno, and you could probably play like the Pan, or you could play Heroine's Lineage. But I just like this card a lot. I like the ability to say no to my opponent and then have a 40k crit afterwards. Not bad. So that is my mono yellow set 15 Turles deck. Hope you all enjoyed. Keep in mind, there's comments down below. Put them there. Let me know like what you think I should adjust, or how your Turles decks hold up. And like always, there's buttons. Feel free to click them. They're there for a reason. And read your cards, know your plays, and fluff out.